our channel. Today we have as our guest Sabita Pokhrel, who is a nurse within the NHS in the United Kingdom. So let's find out from Sabita what is the journey for a nurse coming from abroad to work within the NHS, and how her journey has been and what her experiences has taught her, and whether those experiences can help other women, future nurses that might be wanting to enter the field or are interested in knowing more about how they can qualify and become nurses in the UK. So Sabita, welcome to our channel.
Thank you.
So Sabita, can you tell us a little bit about what was it about nursing that interested you, and what was your journey in terms of becoming a nurse?
With nursing, I was always interested to become a nurse from when I was a child, and additionally, my mother, she always wanted me to be in a medical field of some sort. And back then, obviously, she wanted me to become a doctor. However, I wasn't interested in science as such. But something similar to that would be a nurse. So I was always passionate about it. That's how I ended up starting nursing and completed my nursing diploma back in 2003.
Back in Nepal?
Back in Nepal, yes.
Right, okay. So from listening to you, it does appear that although you qualified back in Nepal, you then later on considered coming to the UK to become a nurse. So what was that? What was the key factor that made you make that decision?
One of the main factors, if I look back, was back in that time when we did our nursing, we had to, there was no degree or like BSc nursing, it was diploma only, and we had to wait for about 2 years and have a work experience to do the bachelor for a BSc nursing. So whilst I was waiting, and at that time, young age, wanted to explore the world and wanted to see how nursing is done all over the world. So my first destination I chose was coming to UK, and luckily managed to get like half registration with the NMC, which is a Nursing Midwifery Council of UK, and then came here and completed the rest and became the registered nurse within a year.
Okay. So I'm not from the nursing field, so I don't quite get it's so for somebody who might consider going into nursing but is not familiar with some of the terms that you use. So what do they need to do if they wanted to pursue a nursing career in the UK, if they qualified outside of the UK?
Yeah, first of all, they have to have, when it comes to UK, they have to have at least 1 year of experience. And they have to get in touch with Nursing Midwifery Council, which is the board of for nurses and midwives in UK.
That's the regulatory board.
That's the regulatory board for UK, for all the 4 countries like Wales, Scotland, okay, England, and Northern Ireland. So if they get in touch with the Nursing Midwifery Council, which we call NMC, then actually they do guide you or guide them what to do.
Oh, right.
Step by step.
Okay. So there's a website, dedicated website.
Absolutely.
Where people can, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So from there, like once you get in touch with the NMC, you will get the guidance, and it's a pretty straightforward process.
It is, yes. It is. It can take from 6 months up to a year, because they wanted. You can apply whilst you are still in Nepal,
or another country,
and but NMC always likes the placement. To do the placement, you'll have to come to this country to get fully registered, but you
Okay.
can start your registration process from wherever you are.
Oh, so that's what you meant by half registration.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, that's
okay.
what it was. Yes.
I see. So once you came to the UK, was it as easy as you had anticipated, or was it very difficult to adjust at the beginning? How was your journey? And I'm only asking this question because I would want our viewers to understand what they need to be mindful of before they move here, so that hopefully, if your message is helpful in helping them alleviate some of the difficulties or barriers, then I think that's a good thing, right?
Yes. As I said, back in my time, back in 2005, NMC did not have any requirement of like English test. However, me personally, I didn't really have anyone in this country except for my friends. So I had to take the route of agent or via agency. I had to basically go to them. I went to them and paid huge amount of money for the process and everything. But nowadays, if you get in touch with the NMC by yourself, you can get the step-by-step guidance, and there is an English test criteria, be it it could be IELTS or OET, which I'm not very familiar with OET, but IELTS I have done it myself. So that's there are certain requirements currently. However, back in my time, there wasn't such requirement except for the registration process. So in that sense, it was easier. However, because I came from via agent,
how they can
qualify
and
the amount of money
nurses
that
in the UK.
I
So
had to
Sabita,
pay
welcome to our channel.
was a huge.
So Sabita, can you tell us a little bit
my
about
mom and dad had to pay
what
that.
was it about nursing that interested
almost
you, and what was your journey
And
in
that's
terms
a lot
of
of
becoming a
money.
nurse?
Yeah, for,
so whereas nowadays they don't
with
necessarily
the
have to
nurse,
pay
I was
any
always
agency,
interested
they
to
can
become a nurse
literally like
from
apply
when
via
I
the
was a child.
NMC and save that money.
Yeah, save that money. You just have to pay the registration fee. IELTS fee or OET examination fee would be yours. You will have to pay that, but NMC really doesn't ask for like any additional fees. But which if you come via agency, there will be a nurse. So even recently, one of my friends, sister-in-law, she came from Nepal. Again, she was being vague. She was trying to get agent involved, but her sister-in-law, she managed to get in touch with some of the NHS professionals or NHS centers in here, and she managed to actually apply directly from Nepal.
Oh, excellent!
And she was interviewed via online method, and then she's here, and the NHS who hired her actually had paid her for flights, for accommodation, and given her a job with work permit.
Oh, excellent. So there was a virtual interview. She didn't even have to come here for an interview. And once she passed the interview, the NHS or the employer sent her flights as well as accommodation for the first
2 months.
First 2 months. Well, that's like really, really valuable information for anyone forking out a huge amount of money. But by taking your advice, they might be able to do it themselves without having to pay all that money, right?
Absolutely.
Excellent. So in terms of, like, you mentioned that you had some friends here already, but say for instance, if you were the first from amongst your friends to come here, or even like if you had a few friends and when you came here from Nepal, culturally, the adjustments, did you come here on your own, or did you bring family together with you? Or?
No, I came actually on my own, but I did come with a friend who was on her own, so it was two of us.
Okay.
But friends. So I was single.
Okay. Okay, so in terms of building your support network and getting to know the local resources, did you have any time to make those sort of connections, or was it straight to work and, you know?
At that time, we had some connections via a friend, the friend who I was referring to earlier. So wherever she worked, initially we couldn't get nursing jobs straight away. We had to work as a carer until we got our license or PIN number from the NMC. So,
but you had permission to work.
We had, permission to work because our visa was like, back then they used to issue visa called adaptation nurses, as in we are coming here as adapting the nursing profession here. So we were allowed to work and do placement at the same time. So we were allowed to work almost the full-time hours. Yeah, so, but then we had to work within the area of ours, only like care sector, by the hospital or nursing home or the residential home. It was, initially it was difficult. My first job in UK was in a hotel. Because at that time we had to go to uni like once a week. They had just about started this overseas nurses program. So once a week we had to go to university. Luckily our agent had kind of enrolled us in a renowned one, which was and then after that whilst we were waiting for the placement, we just had to find a job to survive. You can't ask money from parents again. They've invested already. So
and you're too proud to do that as well. You're very resilient, and like, you know, you're resourceful, and you want to do your own bit, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's how I was. And I was, in my mind, I was prepared to do whatever comes in front of me, like to do any kind of job. So in the front it was hotel, and because it is hospitality, and then they had kind of similar, like you know, you could just go in, do the bed makings, and so I kind of preferred that instead of going to do like a hotel bar job. So that was my first job to survive or to support myself, to pay rent, bills, and also the journey wasn't easy.
But looks like for people coming now, it's going to be relatively much
better.
Much better.
They can go straight into caring jobs. Unfortunately, you can't, you know, straight away do the nursing job, as you will have to have the registration PIN number of the license to practice.
And how long does that take normally?
It does take about 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Depending on how quick you are to.
You have to be proactive as well.
Because NMC always gives you the decision that NMC makes for you to do the placement hours would be like, back then it was like kind of individual. They might give you certain hours and give me certain hours, so you have to complete those hours as a placement.
So is it like
to be able to register?
Just the placement hours, or do you have to build up a portfolio as well to make sure that you are doing a lot of? Do you need to do modules on top of your nursing degree, or like whilst you're doing the placement, or?
Back in my time, we had to actually do a separate assignment of like, you know, care plan assignment of 3,500 ward. But now, as it's been a while since I've been registered, so things have changed. Quite a lot of things have changed. So what I have gathered from my colleagues or from my family friends, that you just have to do that OET exam.
What does that stand for?
I think it is an English test, but I haven't looked at it.
So your advice, So your advice would be like, even now, wherever you may come from, whichever part of the world you may come from, English proficiency is a must.
Yes.
And so you would encourage people to try and polish their English before
Absolutely,
coming here.
Yes.
Okay. And I just wanted to ask as well, because I've heard that nurses coming to the UK from different parts of the world. How diverse is the workplace that you work in at the hospital you work in?
It is very much diverse. It's we have nurses from almost all over the place. It's quite nice, but in the end, it's like caring for patient. So and it's your passion that the care you provide and that one thank you get from the patient is it's huge. It's very rewarding. So and seeing others and their journey to from their home to here and their struggle and your own struggles. So it kind of like match up, and then you feel like you belong to like each other.
Okay. So you feel that there's a meaningful sort of connection, and
There is.
yeah, and as you are trying to enable them to become better, or to support them with their recovery process, you feel that that's where your passion is, and
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It is like just one smile that especially when you talk to patient, when you have time to talk to patient and listen.
why are
to
you
them.
saying that? It seems as if like there is that time. So
That's the thing.
is it very, very busy?
It is very busy in the ward. Even though you want to spend some quality time with the patient, talking about their their life, their family, it is hard to make that time because you will be running around doing the what's important medication first, and then caring the patient, doing their helping them with their daily chores, and by the time you want to kind of like maybe go and talk to them, there is time for doctor's round, there is again time for another round of medication.
So just the smile and the body language, those are
yes,
okay.
that's quite
Those are
important. Yeah.
Okay, that's really helpful to know, and also it's really good to hear that we have nurses in the NHS who care so much, and despite them being ever so busy, they are very observant of how the patients are responding to their care, and little things like that, a smile or a body language tells you so much as well. So that's really good to hear. So what has been the most challenging aspect of your job or your journey, and I'm again like requesting you to share this so that people who might want to come into nursing career are aware and can psychologically prepare, or mentally and physically prepare for that, so that it doesn't come as a big shock later on.
Yeah, I have to share my experience on this one. When I first came in, obviously I was young, 22-year-old, very thin kind of person, and my placement, my university at that time sent me for a placement in a nursing home. So where I come from Nepal, nursing home is a private hospital.
Yeah.
So in Nepal, a nursing home is a private hospital,
nursing
which means
home,
fancy, nice hospital where you go and work as a nurse. And I have to be honest, we hardly do any personal care back home. Things might have changed now, but back then, so that's how it was. All the visitors or families would do the personal care of the patient, because one thing, we didn't have time, and we had to see or look after like 1 to 30 patients maybe. So it was more of like
giving advice.
Giving medications, doing the vital checks, but the personal care would be done by the family.
Right, okay.
That's how it was. But then when I had like I don't know if it is a culture shock or everything, when I went to the nursing home, it's actually an elderly care home. And as soon as I saw, I was like looking for like proper hospital beds.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was like their residence, it was elderly, elderly patients.
Yeah.
being looked after by nurses only.
Yeah.
So in nursing home there are no doctors
Yeah.
based in there. So it's, in a sense, it's actually a proper nursing home. It's run by nurses.
Yeah, residential.
Yeah. So these patients, they stay day in, day out.
Yeah.
So that was a big shock for me.
Yeah.
And plus physically, so that was like mentally and culturally, it was completely different thing, which I wasn't expecting at all. So now,
so maybe your agency that you were paying, they should have given you some training. Yeah.
All they said was like, oh, when you go there, you'll be doing you'll go to university, and then you'll straight go to work, and you'll earn you'll earn money like 3 times or 4 times the money you are earning here, and you'll be able to pay back whatever you have. So they never said what kind of place is nursing home or what kind of place is NHS. I didn't even know about NHS back then. No one told me there is like I used to see these hospitals, and I was wondering, like, I did want to go and work in the NHS, National Health Service. But
without realizing what it is.
Yeah, without realizing what it is. I didn't know. I didn't even know there was private hospitals in England until I did it myself later on. So, and in the nursing home, the other thing was like these, you have to like manually use the hoist. Not every place had the electric hoist.
Oh, so you have to manually do it.
Yeah, and again, as I say, things might have changed now. They might have like everyone has the. So it was like a proper, like as if we are using the hand pump back home. So it was literally, pumping, and this patient could be heavy. So physically, you have to be strong to work in these places, and as we said earlier, the diversity of the staff members. I mean, there are people coming from all over the world, and for us, I think in Nepali, I have a confess. I'm 5 feet tall, and I wasn't big, and my partner who was working with me would always be like tall and big, and then the weight of the patient would come to me. So physically, you have to be strong to work in a nursing home. Yeah. So, but rest the others like personal care and everything, we have been taught in nursing. However, I had to do the real thing after coming in here.
Right. Okay. That is a big difference then, isn't it?
Yeah, big difference.
So I think from what you were saying, your advice, perhaps, if I can summarize it, is to do some research about NHS and about nursing homes, like what does residential care mean in the UK, and also to be psychologically prepared for a big shift in your understanding of what nursing is back at home compared to what it is here in the UK. And I'm sure there's like plenty of websites and
there is plenty of websites, and you if you go to even NHS England, you should be able to access about the NHS, and if you go type in nursing homes in England, then you will know about the nursing homes. If you type in residential home, then you will know what residential homes are. And then there are private hospitals, quite a lot of private hospitals all over UK. Then you will see the difference. Yeah,
so don't just take your agency's word. Do some research yourself, so that, I think sometimes mental preparation, psychological preparation is so important, not just physical preparation, isn't it? So I think, if your message helps people to be more psychologically prepared for the big cultural shift that they will perhaps experience here, then that's a good thing. But I'm sorry for you, that was quite difficult. So from back there to where you are now, how long have you been working as an NHS nurse then?
I actually didn't join NHS until 2014.
Okay.
So I began my UK career in the nursing home, elderly care. Then I went to, further, I just wanted to know more about dementia care, because in elderly population, dementia is quite high, and it's best if you know. So I kind of did the distance learning of dementia and carried on doing it. But I just missed that acute hospital setting, which I did back home for at least 2 years. So I was craving to go back to the front line. And then I was looking for jobs, like NHS jobs, and when I was still in work permit at that time, I didn't have anyone who could guide me. I mean, I didn't have anyone who guided me. I wish there was someone to say that you just have to go into NHS website, NHS jobs, and then you apply. No, there was no one like that. And whatever number I found in the internet, when I rang the agency, I was told, not point blank refused, but I was told, oh, you are on maybe the wrong agency I rang, I don't know, but I was told, oh, you are under work permit, so it's difficult.
That must have been difficult for you too, isn't it? Here and because you're so ready to provide that service, but the barrier is
if only I knew, if only there was someone who could tell me that
just go on the
NHS
website,
and then do it that way. No,
and I believe there's a website called NHS Jobs as well, isn't it?
There is NHS Jobs, and even in Indeed.co.uk you can find NHS Jobs in there as well. I actually just from one nursing home to another nursing home I went. Then from the nursing home, as obviously I think back then I was in Hertfordshire, so moving down to London, I thought I'll just do one step at a time, so let me just move to London first. And then from London, because London is diverse compared to Hertfordshire where I lived. So coming to London, things changed. Jobs coming, actually they started coming my way once I put my CV in Indeed. But before NHS, it was a private hospital who kind of gave me the opportunity. Because I had to be mindful about my work permit status as well. Even though I had a work permit for 5 years, there is always worry that if you keep changing your employer, there's always that worry of, even though no one is going to snatch your paperwork or anything, there's always that worry of what if the employer will complain saying that this person is changing their job frequently. So there was always that worry that you are in your visa will be taken away. I had that worry throughout my work permit life. So but going to that hospital, that was the best thing I've done. So I worked in private hospital from 2008 to 2014. Didn't want to come to NHS because I always had that fear of being, I don't know, I was just scared of coming to NHS, that the pressure, I've always heard about the pressure, I've always heard about the financial staff turnover, financial crisis, and the patient to nurse ratio. And always heard about the nurse ratio, that you'll obviously have to look after more patient in the limited time, and again the working hours. Anyone coming from Nepal, say for example, I had always worked 7-8 hour shift only, and then here you go to work at 8, you finish at 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, so you do 12-hour shift every single day. So that's another thing that I wasn't prepared for.
Okay, there you go, you heard it from the horse's mouth. So be prepared to work longer shifts, because that's how the pattern is here.
That's
in the
how
NHS.
it is in here, yes. And there are only some areas which do short shifts.
Is it the same in private hospital as well, long shifts like that?
Yes, it is, yeah. But then again, in different areas it's different. But if you work in a ward or inpatient settings, so then it will be 12 hours. There are short shifts, but which are still 8.5 to 9 hours. There are even twilight shifts, you do 11 to 11, you do 12 to 12. So there are different kind of shifts.
Flexibility.
There is
there.
flexibility here. Yeah.
So have you enjoyed coming back to the NHS, or are there also
I mean,
flip
my
sides?
first year in the NHS from 2014 to 15, I was like, what did I just do? And my experience has been, I think, different than anyone else, because I came to a day surgery in the NHS. I'm working, and this day surgery was actually it's changed now, but was like how I felt at that time was as if I went back home.
All right.
The situation, the settings, and everything was
in a positive way, or
not in a positive way for UK, I must say. But
all right. So the drift and delay.
The style of working, because in private I was like kind of advanced, using already the advanced technology.
Yeah.
We were already using all the we were using electronic notes.
Yeah.
Doing care plans and everything electronically.
You felt that going back to the NHS day surgery, it was like going back in time.
It was like going back in time. We are doing the paper notes, like writing everything instead of typing.
Yeah.
Care plans are all done in the paper, and it was just
Is that
like,
still the case?
It's changing now.
Okay.
We are going electronic now. And then again, the one most thing that really kind of shocked me was I couldn't believe that the UK private hospital I was working, the private hospital, and this NHS they're hospitals of same country. That's how I felt, as in
the significant difference.
The significant difference.
Oh, right.
Well, maybe it was just because I was in that particular ward, which was built for day surgery only.
Okay.
So things have changed.
That is like, I mean.
When I look back, so I kind of like struggled in a way that, not with patient care. I didn't, patient care has been my passion, so I can look after patient, nurture them and everything, like they meet their needs by all means. However, the legislation side, the documentation side, the care planning side, all the admin side was quite difficult for me to catch up. Coming from private hospital, because everything was paper, and there is lots and lots of paperwork you need to do. That's where we fall behind, I think, for patient care.
Okay. Right, the paperwork takes more time.
The reporting takes more time than doing the actual care.
That is sad state of affairs. Let's hope it will change, in the years to come. But I think just going in terms of a more technological side does not necessarily change the dynamics. I suppose more investment, more staff, more trained staff needs to be looked at.
NHS is it's now then after like now being in NHS for nearly it's 9 years actually. Now I've been in NHS. I wouldn't go back to private or anywhere.
How is it? Because the passion, or
there's passion, but again there is benefits. There are benefits as well.
Such as
there is pension scheme, and
is there not a pension scheme?
I mean, there is in private as well, but NHS does.
It's quite generous.
It's very generous. Very generous on that. Plus, when you look at, like, obviously, we come from faraway countries, so if you want to go to our own country, you want like longer holidays, so you do get more annual leave, annual leaves, and there are other benefits as well to working in NHS. So I like it now.
Excellent!
I like it now. But it just
and you're giving to the service that needs committed nurses like you, because you hear so often that the NHS is already deprived of committed staff members who will stay on and who will help build it back up to what it was intended to do. And the staff turnover sometimes, it's quite shocking. I'm not necessarily saying that people have to stay on despite the not so good working environment, but at the same time, so sometimes it does need committed staff members as well as leadership team that can really what do you that can steer the service back into how it should be functioning, isn't it? So
yes, I mean we do need we need more nurses. We need more frontline nurses than the managers. But however, we still need managers as well, because they are the one who will be managing all those staff. But the workforce in the frontline is very, very minimal. And then there will be sickness. There will be there will be nurses on holiday, and
so how important do you think is supervision and support, and what is the level of supervision and support do you get? Obviously, when you are managing so much multiple sort of people's issues, health needs, etc. What type of support can you expect from your supervisor?
First of all, even giving a hand, because you just can't manage the amount of patients that you kind of are given. So if they can say, at least, for example, while you are doing the personal care for a patient, if they can help with 1 or 2 patients, or do the round of medication, or even run the important or the prioritized kind of duties.
So every little thing makes a difference.
Any little thing, every little thing makes a difference.
So would you say that at every shift you have to work collectively as a team, including the supervisor, to make sure that the patient's care needs are met, or is it individually,
It kind of becomes individually, even though we always say we're working as a team, but then you'll be told that these 8 or 9 patients are your
individual responsibility
for the day, and then you are accountable for those 8 patients, say for example, and actually nowadays it's not even 8; it could be more than 10, because that's how the
staffing crisis
is. Yeah. So and then and there is personal care, there is medication, there are dressings, and there are referrals, and you still have to document each and everything. And if you don't document, if you do not do any writings, then that means you haven't done it. And it's very important in nursing that if you don't write, you haven't done it.
So recording is important, and I think that comes under the legislation as well, isn't it?
Yes.
As part of your responsibility, you need to record everything, and accurately as well. And I suppose it's also important for handover and for patients to have reassurance that your staff, your nursing staff, know what they're doing.
Yes.
Right. I was going to also ask you, how important is the support of family? I mean, you did say earlier that when you came here you were on your own, but over time, as we were talking earlier, like you said that your husband is here, so in terms of, and you have 2 little children as well, so how do you manage all of that, and how important is the support of the family in terms of keeping you motivated and giving you that work-life balance?
I think first of all, obviously, nursing has always been my passion, and I can't think of doing anything else except nursing. So that interest have kind of driven me and makes me keep going. Plus, I have a very understanding husband who will even listen to my, whatever I say about the work. And
so sometimes you have to let off steam.
So there's someone there to listen to.
To do it safely.
And plus, obviously you can't say any confidential thing.
Of course,
you have to make sure that you follow your guidance and confidentiality. However, you can always say your pressure. Just to take that pressure off.
Absolutely.
And if there is someone who's cooking for you, and if there is a
Just
fresh
help
food
out,
item, just
yeah.
help out. And and if you're doing the child caring, looking
Yeah.
after your children, then even that, little help. Mainly it's the understanding between the family
Partners,
members,
yeah.
between
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah, and I suppose, and I would totally agree with you as well. Like, if women are also going to work outside of the family home, then I think unless if there's a partnership between the husband and
Yeah.
wife or the partners, like, doing sharing the workload at home as well as sharing the childcare responsibilities, it makes it a lot more easier, and also I think it shows the appreciation for each other, right?
Absolutely,
And,
yes.
so I would totally agree with you on that one. So understanding partners and partners who will not mind helping out every now and then to show your genuine appreciation to your wives.
Even if he drops me to work,
Yeah.
that kind of gives me, he's
Yeah.
he's there to support me all the time. And my family has been my strength. Ever since I've known my husband, he's there to support me, understand, he guides.
Okay. And what's his name? Just for the
His name is Harith Pokhrel.
Okay.
And so
Okay, well done, Harriet. Looks like, yeah, your wife really appreciates your support and understanding, and we hope that more men out there are as understanding and supportive, because we as women, mothers, wives, we if we share the burden, going outside the home, we would really appreciate
yes.
that sort of support
Yes.
and understanding inside the home as well, right?
Yeah.
Finally, as the International Women's Day is coming nearer, what would be your message to women and young women, girls out there, as to why it is important that if you have passion for something, go for it. Like, is there any message that you want to give them?
Yeah. Yes. If you are in, whatever you want to do in your life, if you are interested, if you have a keen interest in it, you'll be able to do it. Like, any barriers or challenges, you will be able to overcome. Giving myself. I am currently working. I have 2 children. I do have a supportive family, but I am at the same time trying to complete my degree, which I couldn't do when I was single. Whereas now, I do work full time. I'm doing my modules, looking after the children, be with them, and you can do it. You just have to have that passion from inside that. No matter what obstacles comes along, you will do bit by bit. Just try and do it bit by bit. Don't expect too much at once. You will succeed.
Little steps at a time.
Little steps at a time.
But never lose your focus on your goal.
Yeah, never lose your focus on your goal, and keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Okay. And how important is Women Support Network in terms of women supporting others? Like, because some of our issues and barriers or difficulties are similar, so what would be your message in terms of women supporting other women?
I would say, women, we have to encourage each other as much as we could, and I think share your share about your experience. Try and help with sharing your experience. Give them support in whatever way you could,
Just
even
be there,
just be there, just listen to them. Listening is some women, they just want to be listened to. So listen to them and be there for them.
Encourage each other.
Encourage each other. Encouraging is the main. And I think sometimes, as we said, as we are sharing our experience, that does count.
Because if that makes our other ladies and women folks' journey that much easier because of our sharing our experiences, then that's what we want to achieve, right? All
Yeah.
right.
Everything
Thank you
should
so
help.
much. Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you. All right.
Thank you.